Hello to everyone. Thank you all for joining me at this time. My name is Shavi Zane, and I'm coming on to bring a message for you all in regards to some shifts that have taken place as of yesterday. Okay, mainly surrounding the death of Elizabeth, who was considered to be uh, the the Queen of the United Kingdom. Okay. And so I want to go off into some things that some of you may be privy to and some of you may not have any idea about. Okay. About a year ago, this knowledge actually was handed to me, and I didn't really know what to do with it because I did not have this channel at that time. And I expressed it on Facebook actually, and it was completely crickets. So I know people was looking at me as if, okay, this woman she's lost her mind, right? Of course, those of you who are familiar with the awakening, you know that when we start to see things through our spiritual eyes, those who cannot see, everything sounds crazy to them. And so I kind of just let that, die out. And so I didn't do anything with that information until now. So as of yesterday, Elizabeth, who is considered the Queen of England, has passed away, and it actually reminded me of the wisdom that was given to me a year ago. So first, I want to start off by saying I'm going to be pulling the cards. I'm going to be looking into my book, The 48 Laws of Power, to pick up on the energy of what this shift means. And I'm also going to be speaking first with you all in regards to this particular place out in, it's called the Tower of London. So the Tower of London, this particular place has ravens on the land. I want you all to go and look this up for yourself. Don't take my word for anything. Go look it up for yourself and use your own discernment. But this is what was revealed to me a year ago. So ravens are actually kept on the land, on this landmass called the Tower of London. It's actually a large building where many people stay. I think it's a lot of the guards there. They stay in that particular location. And so there are ravens that are actually kept on the land to protect the crown and Tower of London. And so it's to pretty much protect the rulership of London, okay? And they use these ravens, which many of you know are very, beautiful black birds, right? To protect the land. And so it says, if the ravens are lost or fly away, the crown will fall and Britain will fall with it. So there was always this paranoia that if any of the ravens were to fly away or to die on the land, especially if all of them were to disperse at the same time, then the nation itself, or the land, London, the crown, and Britain would actually fall. Okay, it would fall and they would lose their power. And so when this was revealed to me, I realized that they have been using these ravens as a way of practicing witchcraft in order to maintain their power structure. Okay, and I'm going to be getting off into a few things because I ended up watching Snow White. Many of you who are within my age group or even older remember the first version of Snow White. I want you all, when you get a chance, to go back and watch that movie, because there are very vital things that are within that particular movie that I see as a direct connection to this particular queen, Elizabeth, and the agenda that was surrounding the magic, the dark magic and spell work that they was doing in order to maintain their power. So it is said that these ravens have been captive since around 1660 during the reign of King Charles II. So they've had these things there for quite some time now. They've been keeping these ravens intentionally, strategically capturing them, breeding them, and placing them on the land of London in order to maintain power. And so it's also said that, let me see, where did I have that at? It's also said that these particular ravens, okay, so this says the ravens are used for magic and protective qualities, okay? This is what the ravens are there for, magic and protective qualities. So then you have to ask yourself, well, what magic are they doing? Why do they need to do magic for any reason, right? And how is a raven protecting their land? So this is what I have here. During executions, the ravens were brought in to dramatize the killings. So when they would execute people or behead them, they would bring the ravens in to dramatize the gory scene of executing someone. So to pretty much bring more fear and, I guess, to incite fear and to create this illusion of power and authority with the ravens. And so the origin is believed to have begun with King Charles II, who requested, initially this particular King Charles II requested to have these ravens removed off of the land, largely because he had an issue with the droppings. So he would go out onto the landmass and walk about and find that it was too many droppings everywhere. And so he actually put out, an order to have them removed. But he had with him an astronomer who he sought counsel from. Okay, this astronomer was like his right-hand man. And this astronomer's name was John Flamsteed. And this particular astronomer told him, no, don't kill the birds. Do not remove them from the land, because if you do that, that will bring bad luck. And the moment that you kill the ravens, the crown of London will fall, and so will Britain. Every part of the power structure will come crumbling down if you get rid of these ravens. And so at the warning and instruction of his astronomer, John Flamsteed, Charles II, King Charles II, I have a hard time calling these people kings and queens because they are not, okay? But this particular King Charles II decided to take the advice of his astronomer, because at that point, I guess he had never failed him or sent him off. And so he told him, hey, this is a bad omen. If you do this, it's going to cause things to come falling down. And so he decided to keep them. And so from that point on, they have been breeding ravens. If some of them flew away and never came back, or if some of them died, they made sure that they kept more on the land. So they ended up coming up with the number 6. That's generally the number of ravens that they want to keep on this landmass. And so they always make sure that they have that particular number, okay? Now, there's also, I also have here that in 2003, Vladimir Putin, which is the president of Russia, right, visited and was shocked to hear one of the ravens, who was named Thor. Now, y'all know that Thor is one of the European gods, right? I think he's like a Roman god or something like that. So this raven specifically, the raven's name was Thor. And when Putin visited, this raven was greeting them and saying things to them, saying good morning to him and all of his team that came in with him. Okay, so the raven was actually talking, right? Now, this part in particular is what drew me to what I'm getting ready to tell you about, is what drew me to the movie Snow White. So there is a particular, I guess, being is through the Welsh mythology, okay, by the name of Bran the Blessed. And Bran the Blessed was a giant, but was also considered the king of Britain, okay? Bran the Blessed, his skull, it is said that he placed an order out to have to be beheaded and to have his head buried in the last mass on the land of London. Okay, I'm having a hard time speaking for some reason. I guess they don't want this message getting out. But this particular Welsh mythology said that Bran the Blessed, who was the king of England, but also a giant, right, put out an order to have himself beheaded and to have his head placed in the landmass of London, in order to ensure that the area will always be secure and protected. So then you would say, okay, there is a skull that could potentially be buried in the land for the sake of protection. And Bran specifically, get this, Bran means raven. Okay, so yes, and this skull is supposed to be buried in London, facing the continent as a protective talisman against invasion. So it was placed there strategically to protect the land, but then Bran also means raven. And so this is where I believe that a large part of their desires to begin putting ravens on the land came through that as well, through this particular person's name of protection. And so then I started thinking, and I was like, they tell you a lot of stories here. A lot of truth comes through these fairy tale movies and things like that, Disney movies, especially the ones that deal with like princesses and queens and kings and stuff like that. And so I decided to, just kind of do a quick search to see what movie actually had ravens in it. And I was immediately drawn to Snow White. So I said, okay, well, let me sit down and watch Snow White tonight and see what comes from this. So as soon as the movie comes on, it starts off with Snow White, who's outside, just la 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 la, singing and, being jolly with nature and the animals and stuff like that. And the queen is overlooking her from the castle. She's looking down and she's giving her this evil, wicked look that says, I can't stand her. She can't stand the love that she's exuding and the fact that she's connected to nature and the fact that she's beautiful and humble and all of these things, right? And so the queen decides to put out an order to have Snow White sent off into the wilderness. And once she gets to the wilderness, the order was to take her heart out and bring it back to her to pretty much verify that she was dead. Now, this particular queen had a pet in her castle with her, okay? And it was a raven. And when the movie first begins, this raven is sitting on a skull head, okay? The raven is sitting on a skull. So automatically I put two and two together because remember, Bran the Blessed, who was beheaded, right? This mythology or what, and was placed in the landmass of London, facing the continent for the sake of protection from invasion. And Bran also means raven. And then this movie comes on and there's a raven sitting on top of this skull in the wicked queen's living quarters. It says a lot. So this wicked queen that was in Snow White was very dark. She was always working up her little brew, doing dark magic, specifically though against Snow White, who was the princess who would have been the next in line to take the throne upon the death of this so-called queen. Now, mind you, Snow White was not her actual daughter. This was her evil stepmother. So that means that, by default, she ended up being underneath the so-called care of this evil stepmother who did not want to see her take the throne because she knew that Snow White would bring an energy of love and peace and balance to the world, while she brought in this very wicked and dark energy, largely because she was bitter and she was very much so in her ego, wicked, and in her carnal nature. And so she put out the order to have Snow White killed. So fast forward, Snow White goes out into the wilderness, and the man who was supposed to kill her could not do it because the energy that she exuded was so full of love that he could not carry out the assignment. And so Snow White gets ran off further into the wilderness. Fear is what actually chased her further into the wilderness, and she started seeing all of these different faces in the trees, but everything was scaring her at this point. She went from having this connection to nature to being scared of everything around her. In that moment of fear, it chased her further into the wilderness, but she landed exactly where she was supposed to be. And when she got there, the animals began to come in and assist her because she had already created that divine connection with them. She exuded the energy of love. From this point, the 7 dwarves, if y'all remember the 7 dwarves, the only thing they knew how to do was work. And the thing was, when I watched the movie, I was like, wow, they was mining for diamonds and crystals, when they first started showing them. And so they're out there, mining these jewels, okay? And that's the only thing that they know how to do, because when Snow White gets into the house, she's like, wow, it's just filthy in here. Now, what I immediately picked up on in terms of the seven dwarves is that it actually stands for the um, distorted masculine energy, because all of the dwarves were all males, right? And each dwarf had his own personality traits. Um, One was angry, one was a doc. He had a lot of wisdom, but he was easily influenced and shook up by the one that was angry, right? And then you had sleepy, and then you had, different ones. So I feel like each one of them, when I started looking at the colors that they was wearing, I did see like the spectrum of the chakra colors. I was able to detect that, between the shirt, the pants, and the little caps that they had on. So I immediately picked up on this was a fractured masculine energy. Mind you, though, Snow White was also in a very feminine energy, but she was leaning so far into her feminine energy that she had no balance when it came to feminine and masculine energy. So she didn't know how to create those healthy boundaries, or to stand up for herself, or to speak up for herself. The only thing that she knew was love, nurturing, and things of that nature, but also very submissive and passive, too passive to where this evil queen was able to work against her, and to ultimately trick her into biting the apple. Now, one thing about Snow White, though, is that she stayed in this energy of dreaming and constantly fantasizing. She had met this prince, and this prince picked up on her energy. He heard her singing from far away, and he picked up on her energy, and they made this connection. That's what I wanted to get back to, because this queen, the only reason why she put out the order for Snow White to be killed was because as she stood overlooking Snow White from that window, she saw that this prince was drawn to Snow White, and she saw that connection. It was a divine union that had taken place there. And she did not want that divine union to actually carry through, where Snow White would be rescued and would ultimately be able to move on and live happily ever after with her divine masculine. And so she said, no, I'm going to put an end to this. I want her dead. But when the man could not carry out the mission, at that point she said, well, I'm going to take it upon myself. And so she turned herself into this old shriveled up lady, right? And she said, I'm going to go in and I'm going to play like I'm very innocent and I'm just this needy old lady, because she knew that Snow White was a natural nurturer and would, naturally welcome her in, because she just cared, that much, and was very naive at the same time. And so fast forward through all of this, the thing is, she did get Snow White to bite the apple and convince Snow White that if she bit this apple, she would receive everything that she had desired, her heart desired. And the only thing that Snow White wanted was her king. She wanted her prince by her side and to live happily ever after. And so she bit the apple, and the apple was to put her to sleep. Now, when the evil queen was brewing up or coming up with this particular potion, she had to read a book to come up with this potion. She also needed to know if there was an antidote to the potion. And so she said, no, I need to know this just in case. So she looked up the antidote. And the antidote was, if Snow White was to ever, the only way that Snow White could come out of sleep is if she is kissed, if she has love's first kiss, okay? Her love, true love's first kiss. So it would have to be her divine masculine that would come in and awaken her from sleep, okay? So I do feel that Snow White was sent in to heal the distorted masculine energy, the fractured masculine energy, which was in 7 parts. She had to nurture and heal and clean, because she had to show them how to cleanse themselves, take baths to cleanse their energy. She had to show them, she nurtured them, she fed them. And so it was that feminine energy that came in to heal the masculine of the 7 dwarves, because all they knew to do was work. They didn't do anything else but work. And so they was too much in their lower nature, but she came in and she shifted that. even the most angry of the dwarfs ended up shifting the energy into love, and was, able to balance out his masculine and feminine towards the end. And so, of course, fast forward, she ended up biting the apple, falling asleep, and the prince came in. Well, first of all, the queen ended up killing herself. She tried to kill the dwarfs when they was trying to come after her to tackle her for what she had done to Snow White. And in that very moment, she was at the top of a mountain, at the very peak of this mountain, and she was getting ready to throw this huge boulder of rocks down the mountain towards the dwarfs to kill them. But instead, it rolled back onto her, and a bolt of lightning struck on her, bam, and she fell off the mountain. And from there, she got eaten by vultures. So she pretty much created her own death through her wickedness. And Snow White was under sleep, but she ended up being awakened by her divine masculine through his love. So it was almost like the seven dwarfs represented the masculine that still needed the nurturing and the healing, so that ultimately, after Snow White, after the feminine energy had done her work, she could rest. But in her resting state, it would take for her masculine to come in order to awaken, and for the two to come together to create the kingdom and to take back the throne. So I know that was pretty lengthy, but when you go watch the movie, you'll understand. And so what I'm picking up here is that the black magic that was being done with these ravens in London largely was targeted towards the divine unions. And because these divine unions would come together and reclaim the throne, king and queen, God and goddess coming in to balance out the masculine and feminine energy of the universe. This is what these people did not want. And so there has been a lot of wicked dark magic that I feel was taking place right there on that land through those ravens, using the energy of the ravens and other entities and demons to do spell work and to send out this energy of keep the divine masculine and feminine asleep and from coming together. And that way, in that energy, we maintain rulership, and they never come together to take back their throne or their position. There was a lot of wickedness that was happening there. And so now the lightning bolt has struck. Y'all remember this lightning bolt just struck in front of the nation's capital, okay, right in front of the White House. That lightning bolt, it was a symbolic of something. And I feel like it was telling these people and also alerting us that empires are getting ready to fall. People who was in those positions of power are getting ready to be put to death. This is only one, but y'all are going to be seeing it's going to be more, okay? Please believe it's getting ready to be more. There's a declaration that I would like for you all to do that I've already done myself in regards to I want to tell y'all this declaration first, because I know that I get long-winded and some of y'all are not going to stay until the end of this message, okay? I want to tell y'all this declaration is a very short one, but this is to shift the energy of the ravens, because the Most High has given us dominion over all the creatures of the land, especially when you operate from a space of integrity. And so because they have been using these ravens, they really are strongly reliant upon these ravens, okay? And I pulled the cards to see what would happen if these ravens was no longer on this land, and the tower came out 2 times. So I know that there is something to this. So this one is a declaration that you will write down and burn. It says, I declare and decree that the spell work, dark magic, and evil intentions conjured to secure Britain are now cast out and destroyed. Now I want to say to secure the United Kingdom and London. So I'm going to say this again. I declare and decree that the spell work, dark magic, and evil intentions conjured to secure the United Kingdom and London are now cast out and destroyed. All dark energy of the ravens across the globe is now destroyed forevermore in spirit and in flesh. So I'm going to say it one more time just in case y'all didn't get it. I declare and decree that the spell work, dark magic, and evil intentions conjured to secure conjured to secure London and the UK, the United Kingdom, are now cast out and destroyed. All dark energy of the ravens across the globe is now destroyed forevermore in spirit and in flesh. So this is us stripping that dark energy from the ravens so that they can no longer use them as a tool to create a dark energy to maintain their kingdom, because they are strongly reliant upon these ravens. The moment one of them dies out, they're working vigorously to make sure that another one takes that one's place. So this is it's a big deal for these people, okay? And so then I would like for you all to light a candle, but specifically a black candle to represent the raven, which is a black bird. So a black candle, and you're going to get a black permanent marker. You want the candle to be encased in glass so that you can write on it. And so you're going to write, all ravens across the four corners of the globe vibrate the energy of love, peace, and light only, in spirit and in flesh. And you let that candle burn through in a safe place, of course, right? And so that's what I'm suggesting that you do. Let me read that part again. On the candle, you're going to write, all ravens across the four corners of the globe vibrate the energy of love, peace, and light only, in spirit and in flesh. Okay? So for those of you that are doing that with me, thank you. For those of you that put it in the description box or the comments, thank you. I appreciate y'all. I love you. So now I want to move off into, because I know this is a little bit lengthy. I want to see, once the ravens are no longer on the land, once the ravens are, let me just say that the ravens are no longer projecting or vibrating the energy of wickedness and darkness to assist them in their spell work. What is, look at what I'm cutting the deck here at the world and the emperor. The emperor deals with empires, okay? The emperor is the head of empires. The world is here. This indicates the closing of a cycle, a chapter coming to an end, a completion of something here, okay? What is the energy? Once the ravens across the four corners of the globe is vibrating the energy of love and peace and light only, okay? How is that going to look for the UK? Look at that. They're blocked. No forward movement is coming out. The Eight of Wands in the reverse and the Two of Swords is here, okay? This is a blocked energy here, okay? This is a blocked energy for these people. So let me just see. We're going to keep pulling and see here. What is the energy? Okay? So it looks like bad karmic energy is coming in, okay? Because this is strength right here. We've regained our strength again, because that was the whole point of this situation. That was the whole point of them doing the spell work and the dark magic, was to maintain their power. So it was all about overpowering everyone else in order to be in this position of authority, and to ensure that no foreign invaders would be able to come in, right? And so the Queen is in the reverse. Queen of Cups is in the reverse, and so is the Wheel of Fortune. Star card is in the reverse. So there is no hope, no wish fulfillment, and they are going to deal with some heavy karmic cycles now because of what they was doing. This was all darkness, y'all. And these people, they was doing it right in front of the world's faces, right up underneath your noses. They've been had these birds out there, these ravens out there, but nobody questioned, well, why are they here? What is the whole purpose, and why do you have to make sure that you maintain a certain number of ravens on this land? Nobody questioned it. At least I didn't. If you question it, please leave a comment down below so that I can know that you actually paid attention or noticed these things. Because when it was brought to me, it blew my mind. Look at that, the Three of Swords. Look at this. Look at what's peeking out here. The Ten of Swords. These people are in trouble, okay? Once they don't have the ability to use the things that the Most High created at their disposal for their wicked plans and agendas, specifically these ravens, their whole empire falls. The astronomer told this to so-called King Charles II way back in 1660. Okay? He warned him. And so underneath the advice of his right-hand man, who was able to look at the stars, an astronomer, this is somebody who was able to tap into energy. He knew, what consequences they would face if they did not continue in this witchcraft in order to maintain their throne. And so he told them, keep the birds here. You get rid of the birds, it's over with. They buried the head of this brand, whoever this is, Brand the Blessed, facing the continent to ensure that nothing would be invaded. And again, Brand stands for raven. You go and look at the movie Snow White. The queen had a raven sitting on top of a skull, and all she did was work in darkness and in wickedness. And so when you think about, well, why was they doing this? It was to prevent the divine masculine and feminine unions from coming together, because that is the true royal family. Okay? And so they needed to maintain this facade. They needed to be the fairest of them all. Okay? And so in order to do that, they had to bedazzle and to fool the people into thinking, oh, that is the royal family. There is none other. There's none like them. They are the most powerful of all royal families. But you had to do spell work in order to convince the world that this was the case. Once the spell is lifted, then everybody sees exactly who and what you are. And so this is where we step in, because we already had that divine connection to nature, to the animals, to the elements, to the Most High God, to our spiritual team and our ancestors. We have that divine connection to where we put that energy out there that, no, we ain't got to kill off the ravens, because the ravens is not the problem. It's the energy that they projected off onto the ravens to use to create their spell work and dark magic that's the problem. And so because we have been granted the authority, to use our authority to shift the energy when it comes to all of the Most High's creations, including ourselves, we say we're going to shift the energy of the ravens. We're going to do our declaration to cast out that dark energy from them, and we're going to light our candle to shift it so that they only vibrate love, light, and peace. So now what are you going to do? Because you're so heavily reliant on these ravens to do your dark magic and witchcraft, so much so that you put it in movies for the world to see, right up underneath your noses. Because the thing is, the enemy cannot hide everything. They have to give a little bit of what's going on in order to, it's almost like if we show them what's happening and they still don't see it, they still don't put two and two together, that's not our fault. That's your bad for not picking up on it. And so we gave you the opportunity to know. That way it's your free will. You are pretty much telling us that what we're doing is okay because we told you through Snow White. You knew it was ravens sitting out there in that yard, and that we've been maintaining them things for years now, over 200 years. You knew that, 400, however long that is, 1660 up until now. You knew that that was happening, right? And so because you was aware of this and you never said anything, we told you through Snow White. We told you we had a skull here. We told you that the ravens was going to be there and that we had to keep a certain number of them. And yeah, we put the message out there because when the ravens would get lost, they would have people from the community that would bring them back. So they knew the importance. This was not just, a trend or just, some little pets to have flying around. No, they was doing dark magic, and they had to tell you through something in order to get your permission. And so this is what these people have been doing. So the overall outcome of where things are getting ready to go for the UK, for London, oh my goodness, it ain't a game. Y'all see that? It ain't no game out here. Okay? The Ten of Swords is a very, very painful ending because of all of the darkness that these people have operated from. These people have done all types of, I'm picking up on all types of spell work and witchcraft. I'm talking about sacrifices, blood sacrifices. A lot of people say, the reptilians and the shape-shifting energy, when you look at certain of these so-called rulers of, the royal family, this thing has been dark and it has been wicked as hell for a long time. And so this is the ultimate. This is where they are headed as a result of what they've been doing. So, yeah, things are getting ready to be real off balanced over there. You know, they're going to have a hard time with the shift that's getting ready to take place here. It's going to be some waves that they're going to have to face here. And I don't think they're going to be emotionally prepared for it because they don't have any divine protection. There's no divine protection for these people because of the things that they have done. It's getting ready to be real heavy, very burdensome. It's going to be real hard for them to carry these burdens because, you know, you reap what you sow. You can't go around here. You ain't got no love in your heart. You know, you offering the world false love, a false perception of who you really are. You know, I guess they figure, oh, she's just a little old cute lady that's just so sweet and all. Behind closed doors, that was brewing up some stuff, okay, with an intention to block and to stay on top. Okay, I'm going to protect my position as the royal family at all costs, even if it means bloodshed, betrayal. You know, I'm bloodthirsty for this position, and no one is going to stop me. Okay, and so yes, they was doing it all behind the scenes. They was doing it all. Okay, but now with the sun coming out, the truth is being revealed. Nothing can be hidden. When the sun comes out, that means nothing. Look at that, 2 times. Nothing can be hidden. That's double confirmation. The truth is right there in front of your face. When the sun is illuminating something, the sun outpowers any darkness. It's in your face. The truth has been revealed in regards to what these people was doing. So I'm going to take one more card here. Well, I got 2. Look at this. We got the 7 of Cups and the 8 of Swords being set free. Okay. Those of us who was affected, you know, other nations of people, because believe me, they had a specific targeted group of who they wanted to keep down, the true royal family. Okay, the true royal family. But with the 7 of Cups, that illusion, we're coming up out of that. We're coming up out of that, okay? And so no longer in these chains, no longer chained and bound, okay, to the confusion and the illusions that was being created. So let me just pull one message. Hold on, baby. One message from my book here. And so the 48 Laws of Power, I just want to see now that these changes have taken place, certain people of rulership have now expired. We are doing the work to shift the energy for the ravens all across the globe so that they're now only projecting love, light, and peace. What do we need to know at this point? What's the message here? Okay. Now, I think if y'all recall back a while back, I ended up coming across this message here about the cat's paw. So I'm going to read this right here because this is what's standing out in red. The cat's paw. It has long claws to grab things. It is soft and padded. Take hold of the cat and use its paw to pluck things out of the fire. The claw, to claw your enemy, to play with the mouse before devouring it. Sometimes you hurt the cat, but most often it doesn't feel a thing. So in the past, when I ended up reading this message, oh my God. Hold up. Wait. Listen, let me put this book real close. I don't even know if y'all gonna be able to see this. I'm looking up, y'all, and this literally says Queen Elizabeth up here. Right here. Oh my goodness. I hope y'all can see this because I surely can't tell. It literally says Queen Elizabeth right there. Right there where my finger is at. What the heck is going on? Let me see this. Hold up. Finally, you may well find cases in which deliberately offering yourself as the cat's paw will ultimately gain you great power. This is the ruse of the perfect courtier. It is a symbol of Sir Walter Raleigh, who once placed his own cloak on the muddy ground so that Queen Elizabeth would not sully her shoes. As the instrument that protects a master or peer from unpleasantness or danger, you gain immense respect, which sooner or later will pay dividends. And remember, if you can make your assistance subtle and gracious rather than boastful and burdensome, your recompense will be that much more satisfying and powerful. Y'all, this is tripping me out. Okay, I do these readings a lot, but this is tripping me out. I mean, what's the odds that I'm going through this book? This book has over 500 pages. And I turned right to the page that speaks about Queen Elizabeth, and that's what the hell we talking about? Listen, the Most High is speaking. I don't care what anybody say about the work that I do. Folks got it twisted over here. Listen, so do everything pleasant yourself, everything unpleasant through third parties. By adopting the first course, you win favor. By taking the second, you deflect ill will. Important affairs often require rewards and punishments. Let only the good come from you and the evil from others. So the cat's paw deals with using others to do your dirty work, and you coming off to the world as being the innocent party, the do-gooder, okay? And so that's what I was telling you all about the little old sweet lady, when in fact behind closed doors it's been a whole lot of wickedness that's been going on behind the scenes, but they needed to have a face that would fool the masses into thinking that everything that they was doing was of honor and integrity. They was using the cat's paw to get away with it, having someone else get burnt and to do the dirty work while they came out looking and appearing clean, okay? But behind the scenes, blood is on their hands. And so this is why the cards that I pulled came out to show you all this. This is not a game. Do the declaration, y'all. We got to do this thing in numbers. I'm excited to see what's going to happen next. I'm excited to see what's going to happen next. Y'all, the watchmen that's out there, keep me posted on things that's coming through, because I'm telling you, this right here, that was amazing for me. That was that was amazing for me, that it goes right into speaking about the same person that this whole message is in regards to. So listen, they did the dirty work behind the scenes. They created an illusion for the world. And so now that we have shifted things, the fact of the matter is we got the sun coming out 2 times. Everything is illuminated. Now we see clearly. Our spiritual eyes are clearly open. And so when your spiritual eyes are open to what is happening concerning the spiritual warfare, then you're able to have a fair fight. And what happens? Honesty, integrity, love, and compassion always wins. The Most High, the holy angels, the Holy Spirit, our ancestors of love and light, Yeshua, always wins. Okay? We win. And so that's what happened in Snow White. They ended up taking back their throne. The divine masculine and feminine came together. The wicked queen died. The lightning strike was symbolic of her losing her life. And that's all I'm going to say, y'all. That's all I'm going to say. I'm tripped out. I got to go back and watch this. But I love you all. And if you want a private reading from me, just email me. If you want to order my body or hair oils, email me. And I will talk to you all next time.